live. Howdy.
Howdy.
What's everybody up to?
אנחנו פה.
Anachnu po. You know, there's another word for po in modern Hebrew. It's kan. Isn't that fun? Anachnu kan. But yes, we are here. Whoever's out there in live chat, please give us a hello.
Reim.
Imreim?
אנחנו כאן reminds me of Joseph's narrative when the brothers say אנחנו כן. We are upright or honest brothers.
Yes, ken is the word for honest, even in modern Hebrew. But a lot of people, instead of ken, they say kene. But it should be ken. Brilliant. Welcome. We have very little to read in chapter 19. And I didn't prepare anything for chapter 20 because I didn't realize that we had so few verses left. Jonathan, where'd you disappear to? We do hear you.
Good. I got screen. And Jason's having trouble too.
I'm not having any trouble at all.
My video card crashed. That's wonderful.
That is kind of odd. It's time for all of us to get new computers. Christmas is coming.
Pisses me off. I mean, it makes me mad.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. We are still in the throngs of the story of King David. Yeah, we're still at it. It's going good. How you guys doing with this reading? You enjoying it? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sound like Stewie? Hey Brian, how's that reading coming? Are you enjoying the reading? Are you enjoying the reading?
You should be, because it's Hebrew. So
these are our compelling protagonist. Good plot structure, beginning, middle, and end. Sorry.
Is this from? What's it from?
Family Guy.
Okay.
Well, my thing was.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I can tell by the cadence now that you said it. It's like, oh, yeah.
Well, these are our wonderful patrons. Thank you guys so much for being our lifeline. We are, again, holding now 4 hours a week. 3 hours public, 1 hour for Patreon. So the first hour is our Hebrew reading that we're doing now at 5 p.m. on Mondays. 5 p.m. 6 p.m. we're doing our second hour of Biblical Hebrew Grammar. We're using Show's grammar book. 7 p.m. we're doing the third hour, which is for Patreon on Zoom. And then on Thursdays, we're doing at 6:30, an hour and a half of Hebrew homework review. Jonathan wants to apologize for not sharing his screen last week.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice because I was away.
I do. And I was
and
not
nobody said anything to him, did they?
Okay. There was only one person here. So, but my bad. And your mother, your dear sweet mother.
Hi, Mama.
Hello, Jace. I'm here.
Indeed. So, last week, if you tuned in on Thursday to read the homework, then you might have had to follow along in your own Bible. But that's okay. You need to do that anyway. We're doing the bare bones of David's story. Today we will finish up 1 Samuel 19. We're past the part where Saul tried to kill David, and now we're going to see something else a little bit interesting. Because the text is so short, we're going to be reading verses 17 through 26. I think 24. There are only 24 verses. That means 7 verses for us to read. But that also gives us some time to cover a couple of other things. Because we see at the end of this chapter something that kind of challenges our thinking on what it is to prophesy or to be a prophet.
Boy.
Yes, indeed. Before we get to that, let's look at this verb that appears in the first verse of our reading. This is the verb leramot. You see in the middle, I am penless or stylusless. But I have ordered another one. It's in possession of the ordering place, and I will have it by Thursday. I just couldn't get out of where I was today. So I'm going to be using...
Don't let anybody tell you you're styleless, though. Oh.
I'm stylusless. So we're going to look first at this verb, leramot. Leramot is the infinitive, to trick or to cheat or to deceive. So we're going to see in this chapter this verb. Now, this is from the root, resh mem yod, okay, and it's in the PL binyan. We're doing the PL after this in the grammar hour, so that should be fun. All right, so when we think of the verb, we think of the infinitive, and we think of the third masculine singular form, generally. Leramot, to cheat. Rima, he cheated. Rima. Okay, so from rima, the hey drops just like it normally does, and we say rimiti. Rimiti, I cheated or I tricked you. Rimiti otcha. Rimita. Rimit. Rimta. He rimta uti. She cheated me. She tricked me. Riminu etchem. We cheated you. We tricked you, deceived you. Rimitem. Remiten. And rimu. Okay, so the mark of the PL is the presence of that E sound in the first syllable and the doubling of the second radical. Okay, so leramot, it's got the A with the doubling of the second radical. All outside of the past tense, it's actually pa'el and not PL. So people actually debated whether or not we should change the nomenclature and call it pa'el instead of PL, because the A appears in all of the forms except in the past where we see E. Has someone else joined us?
Have they?
Jonathan, you'll keep an eye on it, right?
I shall.
Okay.
But then I
have a
can't be held
horrible-
accountable.
I have a horrible
Yeah, I can't.
tendency to put the IL pattern in the katal even as well. Like if I'm just saying, if I'm speaking, just by just because all the others are like that, I inadvertently do it in the katal as well. And I just blame
Ooh.
my study of Aramaic for it, because in Aramaic it's consistent, at least biblically.
Blame Aramaic. Blame Aramaic. In the second person feminine singular, so we see rimiti, rimita, rimit, rimit. We see that there is no vowel after the tav, right? So if you have to add a suffix onto it to say who you did it to, you'll add E, and it will sound just like rimiti, I deceived, rimiti, you deceived, feminine. Actually, in the history of the language, there used to be the form for rimiti, I did it, and rimit used to be the same form, but the E dropped off. And we see it when we add suffixes. So at the end, the very bottom of the table, rimitini doesn't mean I deceived myself, but it means you, feminine, rimit, rimitini, you deceived me. Rimit oti. Rimit oti, you deceived me, becomes rimitini. Okay? That's just an oddity of the language. We do see many times if suffixes are added to that second feminine singular, 2fs, that it becomes rimiti or asiti. So you did me, asitini. You did him, asitihu. It's just like I did. That's historically they're related. Had you guys heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Muriel is here, so we say hello.
Oh,
We actually have 6 viewers at this point. Don't know who's all
yeah, I
out there.
put
but
it
you're
back
welcome.
on my Facebook for the reading. So welcome to the Facebook viewers, if there are any. You should join on YouTube.
Yes. I wonder if one of you could look up in Gesenius where he mentions the second feminine singular, and we'll look at that.
Yeah, I
how
can.
the T ending changed or dropped the vowel.
Colton
Yeah.
has volunteered. Thank you,
All
Colton.
right. And that way we can throw it out there and say, look, we're not lying to you. All right. I didn't mean to do that. We've already been there. We're going to the next slide. Hold on just a second. There we go. Okay, we're into the text. We're starting in verse 17 where we left off last time. So who wants to begin our reading in Biblical Hebrew?
Let's just go by screen order. Make it
Then
easier.
I am first. Am I not? I think I'm at the
Yes,
top.
you are.
All right,
you,
so number
me,
17.
Colton, James.
All right, number 17 says, Vayomer Shaul. Vayomer is Kal. Vayitol, right? It means, and he said. The subject is Shaul. The verb, never mind. Not going to talk about word order. Not this time. Shaul said, El Michal. El Michal. His daughter's name is Michal. Michal is a common Jewish name for a girl. It's not Michael. Michael is a boy's name, right? Michael is Michael. So Saul said to Michal, Lama kacha remitini. Okay, why have you thus deceived me? Why have you deceived me like this? Va tishalechi et oivi. Okay, tishalechi, leshaleach is PL. We are going to look at this verb in the next hour because it's a difference between lishloach, to send, and leshaleach, to send away. So why have you thus deceived me and sent away my enemy, Vayimalet, and he escaped? Why have you thus deceived me and sent away my enemy and he escaped? Vatomer Michal el Shaul. Vatomer is like Vayomer, but feminine. Michal said to Shaul, Hu Amar Elai. He said to me. And now we don't have a quotation mark or anything. We have exactly what he says. Shalchini. Shalchini, send me away. Okay, it's PL. Send me away. Lama amitech. Lama amitech. Amit is the yiktol, first person, like lehamit. Lehamit, to put to death, to cause someone's death. Why should I cause you to die? Right? In other words, why should you die on account of me? Because he was afraid that if he didn't leave, then she would end up dying also whenever Saul kills him. Right? Any comments, questions?
I have that section if you'd like it.
Oh, great. Yes, where is it at?
It's Gazanius. It's in section 59.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up. And then we can look at it real quick.
Yeah, and it's in B2. A1, B, yeah, B2. I guess that's how you say that.
Okay, you said 81B2? 81.
Section 59.
59. Okay.
Yeah, B2.
59.
Sorry.
59. Perfect with nominal suffixes. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Perfect with nominal suffixes. B. All right. Is this the one?
Yeah, scroll down to B2. Go there.
We see feminine here. Hiktalt, hiktalti. Okay.
Yep.
Beginners should first practice connecting substantive Hifield forms. Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
What am I going down to?
Into is where I saw it. The chart. There's a chart under this next paragraph. There you go.
This one?
Yep.
Okay. Ktalt, ktalti. Okay. Did it specifically mention the T form? I don't see. Like, does it? It should mention that it's attached to the T form. Third feminine singular.
I'm sure it does, but
second singular masculine.
Same paragraph, halfway through it. In the second singular feminine, T is also written. Well, it's written effectively sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally, the suffix is appended to the ordinary form t, as in hishbatanu. Quite abnormally. Okay. The point is that the normal thing is to go back into this historical form where the feminine singular in the second person was the same as the first common singular. So horadinu it's like you. This is talking to Rachav, the prostitute. You put us down. You made us go down. Okay, horadati, horadtinu. You made us go down. Good. That's enough, I guess. So it should be clear that I'm not lying to you. So.
It is clear that you're not lying.
Thanks for looking that up, Colton.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, you are number
Yeah.
18.
Yes, I do. V'David barach v'yimalet v'yavo el Shaul haramata vayaged lo et kol asher asa lo Shaul vayelech hu u'Shmuel vayeshvu b'nayot. So
What's this called where we
So-
have the what's that called where we have the text that's actually this is what's written in the Bible and this is what we're supposed to read.
oh, it's a Ketiv Kareh. Did I miss a Ketiv Kareh?
No, you didn't miss it. I'm just pointing out that the one that's raised here is the one that's what's really in the text of the Consonantal Bible. But the one we're supposed to read is Bet Nayot, and Nayot is a place name. Top
B'nayot. And then
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's written as if it were
Right.
like Benavit.
Yeah, you're right. I just instinctually read it as B'nayot, which is good. I don't know how.
Because
But I
it's
did.
what's pointed.
Right. Well, but that's what is pointed in my Bible has B'navoit, and then the Ketiv Kareh is in a footnote.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I wasn't looking at the footnote. Anywho, so David fled and escaped. Imagine that. He came to Samuel at Ramah, and told him all that.
Do you remember
Saul had
from the
done.
beginning of the book of Samuel where Samuel was born?
Ramot, isn't it?
I think it was called Haramatayim Tzofim.
Oh, maybe so.
And so I think Ramah and Haramatayim Tzofim is supposed to refer to the same place.
Could very well be right. I have no dog in that fight.
In the New Testament, there's a place name that's very similar to it. Haramatayim sounds like Arimathea.
Oh, interesting.
Remember Joseph
Yeah,
of
Joseph.
Arimathea, Haramatayim. I think it's the same place name.
So then he and Samuel went and dwelled in Nayot.
All right, good. Anybody have any comments? Anything to add?
Question, comments, interesting peculiarities. Other than all the footnotes in this passage, it's a text critical mess.
Is it?
There are quite a few footnotes in this passage, yep.
Is there
But
anything
most
of
are
note?
misspellings or stuff like that. Or things that are lacking in other places.
This is what I show in
Scroll on down.
VHS.
Scroll on down. I mean later in the passage.
Oh no, I was thinking about this verse. Anything
Yeah,
about this
okay.
verse?
Oh no, this verse is fine, mostly.
Okay. With the footnote, it says many manuscripts go with what's written in the Kyrie. The ut means like in Latin. It means many manuscripts are like the Kyrie. A few, that's PC is pauki. A few manuscripts, and it's, I'm not sure what this kit means. Benavot. Okay, like it says compare chapter 20, verse 1. So we could go and look at that, but it's okay. Bet Nayot. We're going to take the place name as Nayot. All right. So here we go. Who is next? It would be Colton getting a little verse. You want to do two?
I can.
All right. So here you go, 19 and 20.
Right. ויוגד לשאול לאמור, הנה דוד בניות ברמה. וישלח שאול מלאכים לקחת,
How do you say that? Yes. Lekachat.
sorry, it's the kafchet thing for me,
Mhm.
kills me. לקחת את דוד וירא את הלהקת הנביאים נביאים.
There's just no there's no hey there, right? It's just et lahakat nevi'im.
Oh, yes. Did I put one in there? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
ושמואל עומד ניצב עליהם. ותהי על מלאכי שאול רוח אלוהים ויתנבאו גם המה.
Right, this one has a lot of stuff that we can talk about.
Okay, ויוגד לשאול לאמור. So it was told to Samuel, saying, הנה David בניות ברמה. David's in Nayot in Rama.
But of course, the accent is barama. Barama.
Oh yeah, sorry. וישלח שאול מלאכים לקחת את דוד. So Saul sent messengers to take David. וירא את להקת.
And what is to take?
Lakachat.
No, what the idea to take David means to
Capture him?
Capture him.
to capture him. Yeah, he sent messengers to capture David. All right.
And he saw a band of prophets, is what you said this was? Lahakat?
The band of the prophets. Yeah.
Yeah. The band of the prophets. Nivim. Prophesying in the PL?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nib'im is in which binyan?
Oh, now that's the question. So it can't be PL. So is it Nifal?
It's a nifal.
It's
Yeah.
Nifal, yeah. So the nun that we see is the participial ending, but the stem ending is absorbed into the bet, assimilated.
Yeah.
No, because like this, the root itself is nun bet aleph,
Mhm.
and the nun on the front is from Nifal.
Right.
Nib'im.
And Samuel was standing positioned against them. Like positioned across from them, maybe. I don't know. And there was there was upon the messengers of Saul there was a spirit of God, and they prophesied them also. Sorry, it's just a, what do they call that? Does that cause us pindus right there?
I don't know.
I don't really. Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think you are correct.
Yeah.
The vatihi here could also be like it came upon them.
Yeah.
Spirit of God, a spirit of God or a powerful spirit came upon the messengers of Shaul,
Mhm.
and they themselves also prophesied.
Because it's a
Vegam hem
state of,
minus they themselves.
because Hayah is a state of, usually if it's only one stage of the state of that we're talking about, it usually gets like, I learned new stuff recently. So one of the things that I've learned is that when you have statives, but we're talking about non-stative or non-habitual like scenarios, the stative,
Mhm.
it's called aspectual coercion, I think is the right word for this. But it gets pushed like it gets like changed by being typically like one stage, and it's usually the onset of the state is what happens. And so that makes sense.
When somebody was prophesying, it would normally say Vayihi dvar Adonai el Amos, el Yeshayahu, el whoever it is. The word of the Lord was to him. It means it came to him. Like he began to prophesy.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is I think you're right in that this idea of coming on, it's the like onset of the of
inspiration.
I just
Yeah.
like the name aspectual coercion. Is that a
Yeah.
Grassoian?
It is a
Uh,
linguistic term that I learned from reading Kevin's papers. Yes,
Cool.
I just read about it today. I'll send you the.
I think I want to compare and contrast him and my professor. That would be an
Well,
interesting.
he does a
time.
lot of that himself in
Oh,
his,
I know. That's why I want to read him.
in his master's thesis. So
I need to do that. Is what I'm saying.
he does say that Cook is has the most similar conclusions, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't seem that different, but he seems
he,
very.
he
thorough.
explains how they're
So,
different, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nope, not here. But for
Yeah.
future reference, I want to learn. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
but yeah, I just think my point is saying like this came upon. I think that's the idea is like it's the onset of the spirit that we're looking at, and so we're looking at the beginning of the instance. That's all I was trying to say. It was upon him. It's like always, or it came upon him is what we're looking at, right? I think that's just it makes sense.
How was it that we have Hevel, I think, of Nevi'im? Hevel Nevi'im. This is 1 Samuel 10. And it says, אחר כן תבוא גבעת אלוהים אשר שם נציבי פלישתים, והיא גבוהך שם העיר, ופגעת חבל נביאים יורדים מהבמה, ולפניהם נבל ותוף וחליל, okay, so it's musical instruments, וכינור, והם המתנבאים. So it says afterwards you would enter Givat Elohim, where I'm not sure what this Nitzivei Flishtim is. Nitzivei, pillars of the Philistines. Pillars, I don't know. And when you would come there, the city, and you would meet the band of prophets coming down from the high place, and before them a nevel, which is kind of like it's a stringed musical instrument, right? Nevel v'chinor, and drum and flute and lyre, and they were prophesying. We should start to note that that prophecy in the book of 1 Samuel, the act of prophecy, was always accompanied by musical instruments. It was not what we think of as somebody standing up and saying something like, next year this is going to happen and the world will end. It's not like this. But it's people who are traveling between cities or even stationed in a single city, like in Ramah, who are singing the wonders of God. It means that they are performing music. They've set, like the book of Psalms, like the Psalms are set to music and they recount the deeds of God. And that's what prophets were doing. A lot of prophets were maybe going into trances, maybe drugs, I don't know, but they were losing their mind. And so we have the expression, I don't know if you're aware of how Jews say crazy, but you remember the expression meshuga.
Meshuggah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is the second
Okay,
time that's come up this week.
I think it's probably without meshuga. Okay, this is the word for crazy. In Yiddish, they say meshuga, meshugana.
And there's a band that is named after this. Heavy metal band, prog metal band. Yeah, they took it from the Yiddish word, but they're Swedish, is what's so funny. I don't know what they just heard it they saw it in apparently like a slang, like a slang dictionary for Americans, and they were like, okay, we like that. It means crazy. Let's do it. That's what they did.
Let's look at let's see. Jehu came back to his master's office. They said to him, is everything all right? Why did that madman come to you? He answered, you know the sort and how they babble. They say, liar, come to... Okay, so they would call prophets madmen. Mishugaim. Okay, let's look at a further example. Okay. Here's a great one. Jeremiah 29:26. משוגע ומתנבא. Okay? לכל איש משוגע ומתנבא. To every man crazy and prophesying. Let's look at the English translation. The Lord himself has made you priest instead of the priest Jehoiada, so that there may be officers in the house of the Lord to control any madman who plays the prophet, to put him in stocks and collar. So now why have you not rebuked Jeremiah, blah, 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 who plays the prophet for you? So there was a connection in the mind of the people between being crazy and prophesying. Mishuga umitnabe. It doesn't say every madman who acts like a prophet. It says every crazy and prophesying person. Every crazy and prophesying person. There was a connection. So what was happening was probably that they were playing music and going into these trances or fits. So when Saul joined them and prophesied, it wasn't that he was overcome with the Spirit of God and saying great things. He just kind of lost his mind. Right? He kind of went nuts. So let's keep going with verse 21. Is there anything else you guys want to add or comment? Do you agree with that assessment or disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the thing that they're pulling on is like the playing the prophet, or like, again, is this idea of the Hithpael in a lot of cases being like an outward, like showing like an outward like display of something. And I think that whoever the translators were picking up on that is like it being a display of said thing.
So that would be the distinction between the prophets, the band of prophets that were doing it in the Nifal,
yes,
and then these messengers who joined them and did it in Hitpael.
Acted as such. Yeah, that's how I would read it. If assuming you take the present yourself as reading at all, but that was a side. I don't remember in one of the It was in one of the JPS commentaries where they said that the Hithpael, excuse me, can take that. Yeah, Hithpael.
It's okay. Colton's a fellow Lamninian.
Yeah, but in the Hithpael, yeah. For what that's worth,
Yeah.
I just think it's another way of.
It could be a good distinction to understand in the text.
Yeah, and it might tell us the difference of what's actually being said. But
and also the madman and also the Meshuggah in that passage in Jeremiah was mitnabe also.
Yeah, might be a paper worth writing in there somewhere.
All right, so next is James. You're reading verse 21.
All right. Vagidu לשאול וישלח מלאכים אחרים ויתנבאו גם המה ויוסף שאול וישלח מלאכים שלישים ויתנבאו גם המה. So they told Saul, they made it known to Saul or something. And he sent other messengers, and they also prophesied. And again,
the Gamhema we could take as they themselves also prophesied. That will stress that per the pronoun. No pronouns in the Bible.
And again, Saul sent messengers, 30 messengers, and they themselves then...
Not 30. It's not shloshim, not shloshim, but shlishim.
Shlishim.
So it would be like a third band, a third group of messengers.
Yes.
The NRSV translates it as a third time. I don't see that because it's plural. Vayosef Shaul vayishlach malachim shlishim. Like it's modifying malachim. Vayitnaba'u gam hemma. All right. Let's see how they render it in Halot. We're in 1 Samuel. Go back to it.
Are there any variants where the mem's missing?
Mm,
Does it list that at all?
nope.
Okay, never mind then.
What's this one? Intervallum. Intervallum. What's that mean? Don't know. So we're gonna go with third part. Let's see if they give a third time as a definition. A third, the third. That would be shlishi or shlish.
Shlishi
Which
is
is-
what I was
Yeah, which is
What
why
I
I asked
thought of,
if they dropped the mem anywhere in
Mhm.
any of them.
Plural malachim shlishim, a third unit of men, a third group of messengers sent by Shaul. Right? Not a third time, but a third group. But,
Intervallum apparently means interval. Does that make any sense to you?
Nope.
Jason
Okay.
nods as if he's understanding. Nope.
Nope. Can you explain this gap in the text?
that's where there's a gap in the manuscript.
Yeah.
A break in
The
the
scribes.
yeah.
Yeah, the scribes give instruction that you're to leave space between those sections. What's it called? You remember?
Nope.
It's called Parasha Stuma,
Mm.
which is a closed-in section. Parasha is a section of the text, and it's closed in, meaning that it doesn't open up into a new line on the document. All right,
That's what I-
Parasha Stuma. We say Stuma for like someone who's stupid in modern Hebrew. Tasatum, you're dumb. But that's not what that means. All right. Verse 22, Vayelech gam hu. So we had gam hema, and now we have gam hu. And we're going to see, let's see in this verse. No, hold on. In verse 23, a better use of this. It's very interesting. So the gam hu is used to stress the subject, right? So Vayelech gam hu haramata. So he also, or he himself also went to Ramah. This is Saul going. Vayavo ad bor hagadol, and he came until Bor Hagadol, which is a place name called the Great Pit. I don't know where that would be. Asher ba Secho. Secho is also a place name that I don't know where it is. Vayishal, Vayomer. And he asked and said, Eifo Shmuel v'David. Where are Samuel and David? Vayomer hine benayot barama. Behold, in Nayot, in Ramah. So Ramah is the area, and Nayot is the place where they are. He came to Bor Gadol, which is in Sechu, and he said, where are they? And they said, go to Nayot. That's where they are. Okay? Verse 23. Are there any comments from the text that anybody wants to make?
Any comments in the chat? Nope.
No, in the text. You said that 23 had a
Oh,
lot
I was
of
asking the question.
variants.
I was following up.
You said before that 23 has a lot of variants in
Misspellings
the...
and stuff. Yep.
yeah.
So,
I mean, 22. If that's
yeah,
what we're at.
22 and 23. Yeah, so verse 23. Shall I take us through 23? Vayelech sham el nayot barama, vatihi alav gam hu ruach Elohim, vayelech haloch vayitna be ad bo'o benayot barama. So he went there toward Nayot in
Oh, yeah, he
Ramah.
went there. He went
Yep.
there.
He went there.
Notice normally you would expect that with the directional hey vayelech shama. there.
Vayelech Shama. Mhm.
hmm
Vatihialav, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he
Gamhu, alav gamhu. What do you make of that? Alav gamhu.
Gamhu, also him, even him, or something.
But feel it, feel it.
Mhm.
Vatihi alav gamhu ruach Elohim.
Gamhu, Ruach, even him, there was upon even him a spirit of God, or from God, or something. We don't really know what's going on there, but it's something to do with prophesying. And let's see. And as he was going, he began to prophesy, fell into a prophetic frenzy, says the NRSV.
We often use haloch in the expression aloch v'chazor. Aloch v'chazor means like two-way, like you go there and you come back. So aloch is the direction there. So he went like going forward, like going on his walk, and he was prophesying until he came to blah blah blah. So he went from Secho, going on the way to Nayot, and as he went, he ran into these prophets
Yeah, until he
and joined them
in Ramah, until he came
Yeah.
to Benayot. Neat.
Yeah. Now we'll see a little bit of what his manic episode entailed.
That's my own pet theory for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So what did Saul experience as prophecy?
Okay.
Sorry.
Take
Yeah,
us
yeah.
home.
ויפשט, ויפשט גם הוא בגדיו, ויתנבא
So if it
גם
says
הוא.
Gamhu, what does it say about the other people?
They were doing it too.
They were doing it too. Like they did it and he also did it. Okay. Vayipshat Gamhu Gadav.
Yeah. ויתנבא גם הוא לפני שמואל. ויפול על רום כל היום ההוא וכל הלילה. על כן יאמרו הגם שאול בנביאים, excuse me.
Banvi.
And Saul not tore, but took off his clothes, and he prophesied.
Also him, which means that
on
the
him.
other ones were also naked.
Yeah.
And now he took off his clothes.
Before Samuel. And
He prophesied also him. So this Gamhu is played a lot in this, right?
Mhm.
Even him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he fell naked all day,
Nice.
all that day.
But what we're
And-
supposed to imagine is he's not naked in his house, right?
Yeah.
But he just said
He's out
fell
in
naked.
public.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate the Kentucky.
Fell naked.
But he fell down and lay naked
All day and all night.
all that day.
Yeah. And therefore, they would say, is Saul also among the prophets?
Yeah. So
But
they
if
see
we
somebody
go back
laying
to-
down naked, and
Yeah.
they think he's a prophet.
But
There's
if we
a paper
go,
in this Gamhu somewhere.
if we go back to 1 Samuel 10, that's where we first get the question of, is Saul also among the prophets?
Yeah. So this isn't the first time that people have been mistaking Saul for one of the prophets.
Yeah, it's 1 Samuel
Let's
10,
see.
12. If we wanted to look at it, we don't have to. I'm just letting you know.
Chapter 10 to chapter 12?
No,
No.
10, 12.
Oh, 10 to 12.
Chapter 10, verse 12.
Yeah.
Oh,
A man of the place answered, and who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets? When his prophetic frenzy had ended, he went home. Prophetic frenzy. Let's see the words in Hebrew.
I think that's just the verb or the nominal form.
Yeah. But if you go up,
Okay, Vayan ish misham, a man from there, answered, Vayomer, umi avihem, and who is their father? Al ken haita lemashal, it became a proverb. Hagam shaul b'nevi'im, which is the exact same word the words that we had in this chapter. Vaychal mei hitnabot. Hitnabot is a problematic form because it's supposed to have an aleph inside of it. It's supposed to be mei hitnabe. He finished from prophesying vayavo habama. He finished from acting the prophet. Right?
Yeah.
It's,
it's
brilliant.
verse 10 in there also has it in the verbal form, but it's okay.
And I think those are the only two. Yeah, those are the only two passages that say, "Is Saul also among the prophets?"
Yeah.
Brilliant. Great.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what literarily that does for us. It's definitely
What
meant to recall
literally?
the first time, right? But to what end? Like for what
I'm not
purpose?
sure.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm just thinking out loud.
There was something else that's kind of relevant with regard to the concept of prophetic unction and the prophetic job. I guess if it were a job, there was something in
in the Christian world, we
Samuel
call them
also.
offices.
Oh. Well, there was. Let's try to find it in Samuel. It's where they use the word seer. Okay, so seer. Remember when David came into there's First Samuel. Okay, this is the one. Great, first use of the word seer. There was a guy named Nathan who was called the seer, right? The prophet Nathan during the time of David, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know of him?
Yes.
Okay, so this gives us a clue into what a seer is and all of that, because the word prophet doesn't seem to have always been what we take to be prophet. So let's look. We'll just go through the English real quick.
There's a verse somewhere that says like formerly the prophet was called the man of Ish Elohim. Oh, is that this? Was that what we're
Ish Elohim? I don't know. When they came to the land of Tzuf, Saul said to the boy who was with him, let's turn back, or my father will stop worrying about the donkeys and worry about us. But he said to him, there is a man of God in this town, Ish Elohim. He is a man held in honor. And whatever he says always comes true. Interesting. So he's predicting the future. Let's go there now. Perhaps he will tell us about the journey on which we've set out. So they want a guy who's going to tell them the future.
Yeah. Go down to verse 9. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So Saul replied to the boy. That's the point that I'm getting to.
Oh, okay.
Then Saul replied to the boy, but if we go, what can we bring the man? Because you got to bring an offering, right? For the bread in our sacks is gone, and there's no present to bring to the man of God. What have we? The boy answered Saul again, here I have with me a quarter shekel of silver. I'll give it to the man of God to tell us our way. So if I give him some money, he's going to tell us which way we need to go. Formerly in Israel, anyone who went to inquire of God would say, come, let us go to the seer. Why? Because a seer is someone who could see the future. Oh, Jonathan disappeared too. Maybe his internet's bad. For the one who is now called a prophet, that is when this book was being written, was formerly in the past called a seer.
I thought for
So
sure
we-
that said Ish Elohim for some reason.
Saul said to the boy, "Good, come, let us go." So they went to the town where the man of God was. He is called man of God, but he's being called a seer, and the word for seer is ro'eh,
Yeah.
one who sees. Lefanim b'Yisrael, that is before, lifnei, before in Israel. Ko amar ha'ish belechto lidrosh Elohim, lechu v'nelcha ad ha'ro'eh, to the one seeing, to the seer. Ki lanavi hayom, to the prophet today, yikare lefanim haro'eh. They would call, or it would be called before the seer. So interesting that I think it was probably until the time of Samuel and Saul, David, a prophet was called a seer, and it seems that the word seer fell out of favor because they started to associate them with divination, and divination became outlawed as the Torah developed among the people. So you would no longer go to a seer, which was a general person who had visions about the future, and instead you would start going to a prophet. And the office of prophet changed from somebody who went between towns singing with musical instruments and telling the deeds of God to somebody who would give you God's will. They would tell you the will of God. So the seer was something that fell out of favor, and the prophet replaced it. That's how I see it anyway. So I think these verses give a good indication of what happened with the change of the semantic domain of these words. Right? Anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know where James went, and then Jonathan.
Yeah,
went after him.
he dropped out.
There's
a little bit
James.
before.
I need Paul.
Hupo, who noheg, he's driving. Good. We finished this text really quickly because there weren't that many verses involved. In the next section, we're going to be dealing with the grammar of the PL, and looking at a few sentences to translate. This is lesson 15 from Shill's Grammar. If you join us in the next hour, we will be right here. I think we're done with the reading for now, and I think the reading okay. I don't think we need to spend time trying to. Johnson said that his family's calling. He needs to get ready for what he's going to do afterwards. All right. So we will catch you guys in about 7 minutes, and we'll start the next session.
Sounds good.
I wonder if it would be a good idea to throw up a little image just saying, it's not here anymore. How about that one? To say goodbye. And
You take us. Yeah.
how do I get us off of there? I don't know. So never mind. That's background. How do we get it to go forward? Oh, this one. There we go. We say Toda Rabba Lachem. Toda Rabba. Thank you guys very much. And we will see you next week. We can throw that up from now on when we're closing out. How's that?
Sounds good to
All
me.
right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Luego.